Alright, so I didn't get to mention this very well in the video that you're about ready to see, but this is in collaboration with 5 of us. Me, Ingrid from Mama Mia's Homeschool Chronicles, April from The Simple Rugged Path, Michelle from Homeschooling in the Pines, and Lee with Creative Two-Time Mom. So go to the description box below, click the playlist, and see what books all of us have chosen to read for the 2018-2019 school year. Enjoy. I will say that this was a particularly hot day when I had filmed this, and at some point I had to turn the fan on. I was getting so hot, and so it does account for a little extra noise, and so I apologize. I apologize for that, but I hope you enjoyed the video regardless. Okay, this is not the most flattering angle, and I apologize. My house is in a little bit of chaos right now while I try to get ready for the new school year. Actually, I'm going to talk about 3 things really quickly before I share with you the books that we ended up choosing. The first thing is that I like to have goals. Goals tell me what I'm aiming for when I try to plan a year out. They also give me, hey, you want to read out loud, these are the books. I don't have to think about, yeah, I wanted to read out loud, oh my gosh, what are we going to do, what is good right now, and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to be going with what we have. The second thing I want to share with you is how I select our read alouds. I try to fit some stuff that are classics. I try to ask the kids for any books that maybe they want to read that are on our shelves, and I also ask or I try to get in some of the history reads that would work. So classics, something the kids want, and things that'll work with our history for the year. Okay, I needed some kind of fan, so there's going to be extra noise. I apologize. Anyway, as I was saying, we are doing a ton of reading with our history, with our Ambleside, with everything. Every day we're reading something. There is very rarely a day that doesn't go by that we don't read. And that's going to go into my third thing. How do I make time for reading? There is always time in the evenings. Most of the time I don't eat dinner with the family. I'm the one reading while they're eating dinner. Conversations can happen during that time, things like that. Or if I end up eating with the family, we have read alouds just before bedtime. So the kids know that they have to be in bed by 8:30. And so if they want read aloud time, they need to be ready for bed between 7:45 and 8 o'clock. And that's our read aloud time. Sarah Mackenzie talks about it in her book, The Read Aloud Family. Even 15 minutes a day can equal, I think, like the Chronicles of Narnia books in a year. And so it's not that difficult for us to get that much in. Sometimes we get it in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon there's just a lull and I will say let's do some reading, and we'll do it. And it can get to the point where it's too much reading for us, and that's okay. I'll cut back a little bit, or I'll start pushing a little bit more if I find that basically our boredom is coming in a little bit more. And while I don't try to cure boredom, I do try to not make it a habitual thing. Alright, so some of the books that we just ended up doing, we have the story of Dr. Dolittle. Enough said, there's your classic. The Boy Who Became Buffalo Bill. This one's going to be a little bit heavier, but that's okay. That's why I'm reading it. But I thought it would be really fun, especially since he's known as the greatest showman of his era, and with the greatest showman on earth being the craze right now, I thought it would be a really good read. And that's the only book that I purchased recently. Everything else has been on my shelves. I also have Hans Brinker and the Silver Skates, so this one will definitely be a fun read. The Children of the New Forest by Captain Marryat. This is a reprint, and it's during the English Civil War. Another one that's going to be a difficult read, but I actually had a couple kids request that we do this. And this is The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind by William Kawamba. I have Esperanza Rising. We didn't get to this with our American history last year. This is something we want to do, so I'm going to start with, or I'm not going to start with that, but I'm gonna get it done this year. I have The Adventures of Geraldine Wilkins, Caddy Woodlawn. I read this year and I enjoyed it so much, and I think the children are going to love it just as much as I have. Gone Away Lake by Elizabeth Enright. This was a childhood favorite when I was young. I loved this book. I read it so many times. Imagined myself being with Portia and I don't remember her brother's name, Foster. I imagined myself being right there with Portia and Foster and just building up this old home. I have Little Britches, Father and I Were Ranchers by Ralph Moody. Something that I purchased last year and we never got to. And Bears of Blue River by Charles Major. Megan from Homeschool for Two recommended this last year, and it sounded really good. It sounded like something my husband would really like, and I picked it up and we haven't read it yet, so I can't wait to do that. And then I just have a little Read Aloud box right here. So those are the books that we are going to be reading this year in the 2018-19 school year. A lot of the things that I had hoped to accomplish in our 2017-18 school year, of course, didn't happen, but we read so many books that, you know, I'm not upset with the fact of how our reading went last year. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have read any of these videos. Some of these are in the Ambleside Online reading schedule, but I have found that when I make them read alouds for our entire family, then we all get a little bit out of them, and I think it makes everything just a little bit fun and a little bit easier. So then I have one more question for all of you out there. Are you the only one that reads aloud, or do you make it a family event? Whoever would like to read out loud gets the opportunity to do so. Or are you the main voice of the story? So let me know in the comments down below, or if you've read any of these. I like to give my children, my husband, ample opportunities to read. The children do like it when I read because I can start talking in different accents, and sometimes we'll pick it all up and go from there, and you just never know what you're going to get when Mama starts reading. And I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for watching, and have a blessed day. Bye.